What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name After Sound, and I do have a new song out recently called Dreamin', so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. Okay, guys, let's talk about survival mode and the long-term issue that I think is still going to exist within survival mode. Now, that being said, we've only had one full season of this. We're in the second season now, and I know that the team just wanted to come out, put it out there in its rawest form, and then tweak things as we go along. So this is not like a criticism. This is just, I just want to call something out that I think we'll eventually get to once the team has had enough data to work with and can start tweaking things and seeing what the overall impact in the game economy is. That being said, the one issue that I see, and I'm sure if I was to talk to Matt, he would agree with, just because this is the whole reason the Wild Pass was implemented, is the simple fact that survival mode can now be viewed as a long-term extraction opportunity for anybody that doesn't need to provide value back into the ecosystem. So what do I mean by that? Okay, somebody can come in and buy a bunch of cards and then never, ever have to do anything else in the ecosystem to provide value. They can just leech the rewards for as long as they want. Now, that was the main issue with Wild format and why the Wild Pass was implemented. Yes, a secondary effect was the fact that it essentially got rid of bot farms, which were doing that behavior. But bot farm or not, the idea behind the Wild Pass, or the Wild Permit, I should say, is that anybody could come in, buy cards at one point, buy SPS, and then essentially farm rewards for the rest of time, right? Like, they didn't need to do anything else. They didn't need to add value back into the ecosystem, and it was just a net negative overall. And especially if you go further out on like the long tail, that could really start to add up. So the same issue exists with survival mode, but like I said, I think that this is something that we'll eventually get to. I think right now offering it as this free opportunity and everybody can play, people will recognize what the benefits are, see if they like the game mode. It's fine that they're doing it this way. I think that's probably the right way to do it. But long term, I do think that we will need to implement some kind of gate there as well. Now, I talked about this on the recent live stream. I think it was the Trinity live stream. So this is just a rough idea here. And I'm going to give you two levels of it, right? Just the base level and then kind of like a broader idea of what I think the team can build to in the long run. So to make things simple, I think all you would need to do, right, for the base idea, is just extend the Wild Pass to survival mode as well. So if you buy one, you get both, right? 2,000 DEC, it gets you access to both Wild as well as survival, and most people are paying for Wild anyway already with their main deck, and all their extra cards are going to survival mode. So it's like, it's not an added cost for a lot of the players that are already that are already playing Wild. In that way, I think it causes the least amount of friction, the least amount of headache, and the least amount of development time. That way, when new players come in, right, like they play in Modern, if you want to do any of the other game modes, which are Wild or Survival, it's all under one pass. Now, the larger idea, and this is where I think we could actually expand into something like a battle pass, right? Again, and I don't think that the team needs to come out with like this fancy overarching battle pass right from the get-go. If anything, I think that we could build something organically based on what we have. Is start it there, right? Start it there with, the Wild Pass as it stands, giving access to both Wild and Survival. But you can start to add other elements or other things in where people can come in, and here's what I would say. Increase the Wild Pass to maybe 2,500 or 3,000 DEC, with anything above 2,000 going towards the team, right? So now the team is benefiting from this, and people who are participating, right? Every time that there's somebody that signs up, the team gets a little bit of funding from that. And the reason why I'm saying the team should get some funding from that, one, it creates like consistent income for them, which may not be a lot now, but hopefully in the long term it can add value and grow. But then they can start to develop resources. They can divert that to resources that can develop cooler things. So, for example, let's say quarterly seems to be like the best way to do it, where it's just like, if you get the battle pass and you play X amount of battles or get X amount of wins in Wild format or survival mode, you can start getting, I don't know, it would be separate from Glint, it would be separate from whatever, but maybe you would get special access to getting a promo card, right? Something that over the course of 3 months, which would be like 6 seasons in the game, you could start to earn more and more BCX. And you could only get that by getting the wild pass, or let's call it the battle pass from here, right? So by paying this 3,000 DEC per season, that season you get access to wild and survival mode. Every battle that you win gets you these like little points, right? And that's all I'm going to call it, right? It'll be separate from Glint, but it'll be specific things that'll get you like points that will allow you to redeem those for BCX of this new card, right? And that card is only going to be available, and you can keep that card as something that is soulbound or whatever the case is, or make it something that is, after it's done, it can be unlocked in the same way that reward cards are, right? So there's a bunch of ways that we could go about this, but this is just like a small idea of how you could start to expand and build a battle pass organically over time. Now, I don't know, I don't have all the best ideas to come up with like what else could be added to this. I'm sure you guys can fill in the gaps and even add more, but to me, by doing that, you're doing a couple of things, right? You're getting people incentivized to play in these other formats, especially new players who are coming in. You're incentivizing them to play and participate, not just for the Glint earnings, not just for the SPS earnings, but for cool things in the game that's tangible to that. You're creating an income stream for the team, right? And this is me just long-term thinking about this. But I wanted to share this idea here just because obviously stuff gets lost in the live stream. I thought it was a pretty good idea, or at least a start to a good idea. It's something that we can build. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How would you like to see something like this implemented? And again, the whole point of the video was addressing like this long-term issue of extraction from survival mode, but I really think we could turn that around into something that adds value back to the ecosystem, as well as adds value back to players who decide to participate in these different formats, wild and survival, by paying that extra fee. So that's all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.